The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, this is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matson from Metal Cloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, and Rockstar Jeep Grill, Jesse.
Hello.
Hi. Goondocks. What's that shirt? Goondocks.
It's my Astoria when I was in Tillamook. Remember we went up to Astoria?
That's right. That's right.
That's my Jeep gang in Oklahoma.
Ah, the Goondocks.
I have my own gang.
The Goonies. Down in the Goondocks. Well, that sounds a little different when you say Goondocks instead of Boondocks.
Sounds weird. Yeah,
down in the
sure.
Wow. Well, there was a time when I was down in the Goondocks, and I had to see the doctor the next day. Sorry. As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, and all our friends out there in Modern Jeepers, it's going to be one of those fun shows. Before we get started, I got to bring this out there because this is what I've been talking all about all day, and it's like the thing to talk about, guys. This is Tuesday. This is like the most viral thing on the internet right now. So Corey, what razor do you use?
So typically I use either a Harry's or
The Gillette.
Well, no, it's got interchangeable blades. I think those are all Harry's blades.
Are they?
Yeah.
Harry's. Okay, good. Okay, so that's good to know. So I want you to go to IHateHarrys.com.
IHateHarrys.com.
It sounds. Oh Lordy, I have drama.
Lordy.
On.
So it comes up as Jeremy's razors.
Right. So watch the video, click on the video. But this is the thing: is like this is the result of Harry's going woke.
Okay.
Play the video.
Going woke. Okay.
Do you remember when there were two genders and only 1.5 of them had to shave their mustaches? Oh, hi. I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO and God King of the Daily Wire. Harry's Razors used to advertise on our shows. They're a great product, and we were happy to do it. That's before some peon who works for me went and said that boys are boys and girls are girls, and that was just too much for Harry's. They condemned our views held by millions of Americans and virtually every human who's walked the planet until about 15 minutes ago, as inexcusable. And they dropped their ads from our network because of what they called values misalignment. You're damn right our values are misaligned. And it's not just Harry's either. Gillette razors used to be the best a man could get. Then they decided that men are too toxic. Unless you're the kind of man who teaches his daughter to shave her beard. If that makes sense to you, keep buying Gillette. But if you've had enough of the woke bullshit, and you're tired of paying companies like Harry's and Gillette to hate you, then buy my new razor instead. Behold, Jeremy's razors. Yes, they're real. Yes, they're fabulous. But Jeremy, you say, you're a svelte silver fox with a salt and pepper beard that's the envy of lesser men. You're damn right I am. And I want to be clear that shaving with the Jeremy's razor won't actually make you look more like me.
Yes, you're giving me fierce, you're giving me power.
Could make you look more like this guy, though. And that's the most homoerotic moment you'll ever get from a Jeremy's razor commercial. What kind of man shaves with a Jeremy's razor? I don't know. How about cowboys, firefighters, those guys that shot Osama bin Laden? I mean, no, none of those guys have ever even heard of a Jeremy's razor, but imagine how much more manly they'd be if they had. Right now, you're probably wondering if this whole thing is a joke. Sure it is. That doesn't mean it isn't real, or that it won't be the best shave of your life. Harry's Razors doesn't want your business. I do. They seem to hate you. And I can't say that I love you, but I don't mean you any specific harm. Our country's in trouble. Conservatives are being canceled by Hollywood, the media, universities, and now Harry's Razors. Stop giving your money to woke corporations who don't think you deserve their product. Give it to me instead.
Head over to IHateHarrys.com and pre-order your Founders Series razor and shaving cream set today.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that something?
Wow. Okay. That's an interesting way to start the show.
Right? I mean, it's like that is one heck of a commercial, but two, like so far everybody I've sent that to, the response is ordered. I ordered it. It got me to order.
Yeah.
Like my
totally.
delivery is supposed to be sometime around June 13th, but
Marketing
I ordered
at
my
its
package.
finest.
I don't even shave that often, right? But and it's like any of those, you can
Gotta
do
have it.
you can do a subscription, and I did like one every 4 months or something, right? Is all they need. But that's man, like don't mess, that's something this world needs to understand is you can go down this path a certain amount, but in this world, every business is vulnerable. Everyone is vulnerable. So far, if you order today, that'll be 4 people that I know right now who are all using Harry's. Myself had Harry's, Ray had Harry's, Justin had Harry's, you have Harry's, done. Like moving on. Right.
Well, and again, there's not enough of that real type of marketing anymore. It's all we just blindly give money to organizations, and we really have no idea. I don't know. Maybe it's just we don't have the time to research it all. But when somebody does that in-your-face marketing that just calls somebody out, that's really what everybody should be doing.
Right. And that's the thing but see, the left is very good at that, right? The left is like, oh, evil, right? Okay, I'm wearing Levi's right now. There's nothing about the current values of the Levi Corporation that I support, right? In fact, the CEO they used to have that was that I actually thought was taking Levi's down a bad path. She actually adamantly spoke out against COVID and the whole big and got fired. Like she actually had some opinions about COVID and shutting down the economy and stuff, and she got fired by the board. And now I'm like, well, I actually respect her for that. But I'm still wearing Levi's. Now, I shouldn't be wearing Levi's. I should have stopped buying Levi's a long time ago. It's a habit of, I wear Levi's. I wear them every day. And it's just a habit. It's a brand I grew up with. But I probably should be buying Wrangler or some other brand that is more in alignment with our values. But on the right, we tend to not do that as much because we respect value versus values, right? And I think that's kind of interesting. It's like it's a good value. They're a good pair of pants. They still make good clothes.
Well, I know there's been some recent stuff about Carhartt and
right,
and and I've got a pair of flannel lined Carhartts on right now because, well, number one, I've owned them for a few years and they keep me warm when it's cold outside, and they happen to be in my closet. I'm not going to go burn them because, well, that would be silly. Yeah, but you're right, and I don't know. It's unfortunate that our country is in. We all want to do better until we have all the information. Though, what are we going to do? Right.
Well, it's like you use Expensify. You're a contractor. When you want to submit your expense reports to Medical, use Expensify. And Expensify, the CEO of Expensify in 2020 came out with some
crazy man.
Crazy guy. I mean, he comes out with these emails he's sending out like absolutely pro value and all this kind of stuff. Just the stuff he's coming out with and the things that they're doing over there at Expensify. And I'm like, stop using that shit. But the
emails were it was crazy. Like there were these long 1-page, like small print, huge diatribes of what he was doing as the company. And the bad part about it is then you start to look around and you go, gosh, it's a good product. Like, how do you then go, it's going to be a pain for me to switch it's
right.
And
that's the problem. Like I actually, and then the flip side of that is I'm on a group. Acquired FM is one of my favorite podcasts. They go into deep dives about company histories, and there's a Slack group they have, Acquired FM Slack group. Very smart people on that, like very corporate leaders, founders, some very very smart people on that group. And I post something about that, and it's like, you start reading, they're all applauding him for stepping up. Like, that's what a CEO should do, like step up with your own personal values and stuff. It's like, I do it on this platform. Sure, I share my values. I wouldn't send an email out to everybody who's ever been on my email list, because I don't have an Expensify account.
Right.
I got it because you forwarded it to me.
Right.
I got an email from him because I'm on your email list.
Right.
Everybody, 60,000, whatever it was, 100,000, millions, all these emails went out from him because he wanted to share this with everybody. And it's like, whoa,
Yeah. That's an interesting, I mean, we all do the dance, and we do the dance every day. Whether it's a Jeep part, if it's an event, if it's what we watch on TV, what we buy at the store, we all do this little dance, and we try to be politically correct, and not offend people, and yet here's where we are. We're all just like not walking on eggshells, but we're struggling, I think, to try and do the right thing when we don't even know what the right thing might be, because, well, who knows where I got my information from.
Right.
So yeah, it's crazy.
You're wrong, though. I'm right.
Right.
You're wrong.
What? Wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
It is crazy. The best we can do, and there's this is flourish and prosper. Under any kind of suppression in life, the best thing you can do is flourish and prosper. And I'm not talking about just financially. I'm talking about in your lives. Flourish in your lives. Do what makes life happy. Grow, build, become better. Impact those around you. Keep your values and share those values. I was just reading something last night with my wife that was like, you and what it basically said is, even the littlest bit of hint of input can help somebody become better, right?
Yep.
You don't have to be screaming from the rooftop. But if every day you think, I made somebody a little bit better, I made somebody a little more conscious, or I made somebody think more about how they could be better. It's that whole pay it forward thing, right? You can have a better impact. So, but I think this is awesome. I think just what a way for this company. And this, by the way, this company, Daily Wire, was one of the very few companies in the United States that sued the Biden administration when they came out with the mandate, because they have over 100 employees. So they decided the moment the mandate was going to come out for vaccination that they sued. So they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, sued the Biden administration, joined states that sued, and fought and won. So they put their money where their mouth is, and they're willing to do that. So anybody who can support the Daily Wire, that's great. Support Jeremy's Razors, that's great. Just so now I'm going to get off my diatribe and talk about something that's actually on the top of our mind. By the way, guys, I think Dave Cole's interview last week was awesome. I think it was great. I think it was one of my favorite episodes just because of having a good conversation with somebody. But we mentioned it several times during that about Death Valley, and we're going to talk more about it later. And for all of our Modern Jeepers, that's what this episode really is all about, because you just got 2 incredible weeks.
Yeah, two weeks. And a shout out to Dave. And I'm, it's been such a long time since we've been able to talk to him. And typically when you and I both get to talk to him, it's because we're either at one of his events. And, and I know that it's a struggle too, because I know that the Ultra 4 thing and King of the Hammers, there's a lot of people in the East Coast, and we've already got some feedback about what is that. And I get it. There's a lot of people in the East that just don't know about stuff that happens in the West, and it doesn't affect them, and they don't want to know about it because, your brain gets full and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I thought last week's episode, I think I was pretty much brain dead during the whole episode because we had just gotten back from Death Valley. And so literally, I think I had this like glazed look on my face and just kind of sat here most of the time. But that was good because it allowed Dave to share a lot of his thoughts. And what's going on with his side of an aspect of the industry. I also need to throw out there, we get a newsletter from our friend, our friends that run For Low Magazine, Big Rich and Shelly Crable. I get an email from Shelly. And I don't know how often she throws this stuff out there. If it's
Like once a week,
I think it
almost.
might even be more than once a week. It might be twice a week. But her email, and you can find her at shellycrable.com or send her an email if you look at Facebook. But her emails they've always got something for me. I feel like she's writing these things to me, and I think it's she just does an amazing job. She's a good writer. When we talk about doing our dance and where we fit in and making flourish, be successful and flourish and do things for you. She has a way of putting things in perspective sometimes that we forget, and it's nice to. They're little short emails, but they have a lot to them. There's a lot of guts to them. So, anyways, we'll put that in the show notes as well. ShellyCrable.com.
I had no idea she had her own little website, like a blog. I had no idea. Like I know her from We Rock and from Dirt Riot and from the magazine. I had no idea she had her own little spot. That's so cool. I'm looking at it now.
Little kick you need every day.
Yeah, and it's cool because I get them in the morning usually, and then it'll give me a little jump start and go, oh, I have something to focus on today. Okay, cool.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Kindness challenge. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, check it out. ShellyCrable.com. That's very cool. I'm already like feeling enlightened by this episode. I got new razors and I got some joy in my life. So
well, and the fact that we've all been so busy, and we use that all the time as I can't get to something because I've been so busy. Man, what an excuse, right? That's just something that we just say it, whether it's true or not. Are you busy? Are you really busy? Are you busy doing the things that you need to do? Or are you just busy doing busy stuff? Because I can be super busy and never actually get anything done.
Mm-hmm.
I joke a lot.
That is busy work is like the busiest, the most. It's a time suck.
It is, and I joke about it a lot. When I started working for myself rather than from a corporate entity, I don't know how I had time to do anything when I worked somewhere else for 10 hours a day. Goodness knows I can't get anything done around here. And I'm here when we're home, I'm here all the time.
So for all of our listeners, when Corey says he isn't getting anything done, he's constantly getting stuff done. He's constantly getting stuff done. Try not to cuss here. And yet he gets more done than I do. And he's got projects and all this kind of stuff. He's getting stuff done, yet he still feels like he's not getting enough done. And that says a lot right there.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, but it takes a what do they say? It takes a team. No, it takes a
army.
It takes
an
army.
Don't say village. Don't say village.
It takes
No.
a village.
No villages. No villages allowed.
No villages. No, it takes a lot of people to do what we do, and if it wasn't for a big team that we have, we're always throwing stuff back and forth on each other's plates and trying to. We still forget stuff. We still have lots, and there's always these little side things that we're all doing that we don't spend enough time, and I think this goes true with everybody in the whole U.S., of putting ourselves in another person's shoes to understand what, we get frustrated when I took my Jeep to get its oil changed and it had a recall, and they said, okay, well, we'll call you in a couple weeks. What do you mean you're going to call me in a couple weeks?
God.
It's a flash, the recall, and just change the oil while it's here, because I don't really have the time right now to do this, and it's going to take 2 weeks. Well, why is that? Well, I didn't put myself in this gal's in her shoes. I don't know what kind of day she's had, and I felt like I was this close to just losing it and going, look, give me the keys, like I'll take it back, like just. But they don't have any techs. And the techs are at school, and the techs are calling in sick, and there's nobody to work, and nobody wants to work. And okay, I get it. Yep.
Well, we live in a world where and I appreciate you for stepping back a little bit, and Okay, so I'll tell everybody a little bit something happened to me over the weekend. So Saturday afternoon, I went to the emergency room because of heart pressure or pressure on my chest and shallow breathing and having a hard time breathing. And been going on for a few weeks. I tried different things, diet and stuff. Nothing seemed to be changing. And my wife said enough was enough, so we went to the emergency room. 24 hours later, I get out. Short story, long story short, my heart is fine. So it's not my heart; it's other things, right? But when I showed up at this hospital, Mercy Folsom, and we went particularly to that particular hospital because they don't have a trauma center. They have an ER, but not a trauma center. So their emergency room seems to be less busy, so it's easier to get through. And it's a really nice place. We walk in, and there's a gal in the hallway with a table with masks, all that kind of stuff. Her first questions out of her mouth are you vaccinated? And I'm like, no, I'm not vaccinated. Okay, well, and my wife's not vaccinated. And do you have a test? Do you have you taken a COVID test? Like, no, but happy to. You have one? No. We don't do testing, but you can get a test. So you go get a test and come back, and you can come in. But basically, they would have let me in, but without my wife. Now, I'm already frustrated because I'm having to go to the ER about these chest pressures, right? Which is not something I want to do. And I take it out on her. And this was my mistake. I mean, I literally I was livid. I was upset. This is stupid. This is ridiculous. We're 2.5 years into this thing. Body by body, right? Yada, yada, yada. Everything. And this is, and F this. And I stormed out. My wife tried to stay in there for a little bit. And then one person came up and said, oh, no, it's fine. So-and-so nurse, whatever, said we could do that. And then another person came in and said, no, it's not okay. Back and forth. So arbitraries, right? So long story short, she comes out, gets in the car. We actually drove out to another ER, a Sutter ER. Ultimately, the situation was the same thing. She could come in only once I was in a room, but no visitors were allowed in the waiting room. So everybody in the waiting room was just the patients, which didn't really make sense unless you, of course, were vaccinated, but that was different. So it was, and then once I was in a room, she came and visited and stuff. So it was just a bit of craziness. But the funny thing is, at some point, I got in an ambulance because my health insurance decided I needed to be over at Mercy and not at Sutter. So they threw me in an ambulance about 1 o'clock in the morning and drove me over to the same hospital that I started the day out with. So I would have been better off just going, okay, I understand you're just doing your job. Let's go through this, right? But I couldn't. I had to get upset and blame and make the girl whose only job it was to be a screener doing her job,
right?
With hospital policy, where hospital policy may be arbitrary and maybe whatever it is, and get upset at her, get mad, make things a little bit harder, probably upset me a little bit more when I shouldn't be doing that. And so my hat's off to you, for just kind of going with the flow and helping them out. And I heard another story today from somebody else, and I had to commend them on just saying, okay, I understand where the situation is going to go, and I can either get upset about it or I can just make a solution and work forward on it, right? And that's what I should have done. It's more important for us, for our own happiness, for our own health, and for our thing, to find solutions that work with everybody instead of being this black and white world where you're right, I'm wrong, you're an asshole for even bringing it up, and screw you, I'm off.
Well, I think that's our it's what our media has shown us. It's our jobs, kids in school. If I throw a fit, I get my way and then I can move on, but that's really not the case. That's really not what happens inside. We feel like I showed them, when actually it's harming us more. But we're so accustomed to, 3 years ago, things were easier, and it seems like things have gotten more difficult. I mean, Jessy the other day, so she's in the process of we're getting ready for our ModernJeeper Adventure Moab event, and she's verifying with our caterers and whatnot, and a place we've used in the past, a place that we love. They're not doing catering on Memorial Day weekend because Moab is extremely busy. And you know what? We're seeing that at a lot of different places. Things are just being overrun, and there's not enough staff, there's not enough help. People are tired, and
They just don't wanna.
they just
Yeah.
don't wanna, and they don't have to. So instead of, we used to be all about meeting somebody's expectations or needs and wanting to help. I think as our society has changed in the last couple of years, now we're retracting into, you know what? I don't have to do that anymore. Um, it doesn't gain us anything, so I'm out. Like, you're on your own. My little paper here says that if you have a blue hat on, I can't let you in my thing. Why? Why? Well, my owner doesn't like blue hats. Oh,
Right.
okay. No blue hats.
Yeah, there's this, and I think it comes to this part of this whole woke culture, or this whole world of like, and this, you're taught this, right? You're taught this a lot. Like, do what's good for yourself. You know, it used to be, we can go back to Kennedy, right? Don't ask what's good for you, but ask what's good for your country, to paraphrase.
Yep.
But that's not what the current generation is being raised on. Like, the current generation is being raised on, focus on you. What is important for you? How do you feel? Make sure you are happy. And listen, there's a concept called dynamics of life, right? And that we have 8 different dynamics of life that we live through, and that make us whole, right? Yourself is only one of them. You have your family, you have your friends, your coworkers, the people your groups. You have mankind in general. We have nature, right? That we live through nature. We live through ourselves spiritually, and we live through ourselves, whatever your relationship with God is, right? There's one I'm missing. Physical universe, like the physical universe, your cars and everything. These are all part of our universes. These are all part of our things that we live through, and we can't just exist because of how we feel. We can't just exist because of our job. We can't just exist because of our family. We can't just exist because we want to have cool things. You've got to exist through all of these things in life and run them in balance. And that brings out synergy and happiness, right?
Yep.
But the generation now, it's me, right? And I'm seeing that, and I'm already feeling it with my kids, because I'm seeing that from the media they're fed. I watch these cartoons where it's about the kid who is smarter than the adults, and they're all that way.
Yeah.
Right? The adults are part of the problem. The kids are the solutions, right? The kids are doing what they wanted. The new movie that just came out called Turning Red. It's a Disney thing. I thought, this is cool. Red panda, girl turns red panda, right? And it's a fun overall movie. It doesn't have a lot of point to it, but it opens up with, this girl saying that I honor my parents and I love my parents. And she's a little Asian girl, so it's all about the Asian heritage. And I love my parents and all this kind of stuff. No, I don't. I do what I want. I swear what I want. I do what I have my friends I want. Like, that's the opening of this thing.
Wow.
I wear what it's like, and then it's like, whoa, wait a second. This girl's like, she's maybe grade school, maybe middle school. And she's like proclaiming to everybody that she does exactly what she wants.
Cartman from South Park. I mean, all these years we always made fun of it. I do what I want.
Yeah.
I do what I want.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's interesting, and I don't know where it's going. I think that the older generation that runs a lot of events, especially something like Red Rock in Moab, the Easter Jeep Safari, these events that have been around for a long time, and they really have. There might be some generational gaps into the way these events were originally structured and the way that they need to be structured now. And unless some of those folks evolve, or I don't know, I mean, the pretty soon there's not going to be very many of us old guys around, so they'll be able to do whatever they want anyway. But
right.
I think that there's going to be a big learning curve where the younger generation just says, you people are out of your minds, we're going to do what we want. And us older generation are going to be like, well, we're too tired to fight about it, so
Right.
whatever.
Oh, we're just a bunch of old farts. We don't get
Right.
It's
Yep.
part of the downside of mankind having such short lifespans. And you think about it, we actually have a much longer lifespan than our parents and generations before us, right? And yet, we're still like, it doesn't mean we're impacting things any better. The World War II generation's almost gone, and I mean, the kids now, they have no clue. That's fine. They're going to have some major life-changing event where they're all going to figure out that they were wrong. But maybe or maybe not. Otherwise, they're just going to dive into the metaverse.
New truth.
They're going to dive into the metaverse, and they're going to all live their lives virtual with NFT cars and NFT property. And, you have these 18-year-olds making millions of dollars and have no clue actually what the value of that money is. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's already happening to some extent already.
Right.
Yeah. But
so,
yeah.
Tattoo. Is that a new tattoo? Have you always had that tattoo on your hand, Jesse?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I haven't seen that before. Like I'm watching your hand go up, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't recognize that. I was like, oh wow.
Not new.
The only one I have new is covered up right now.
Oh, it is? Yeah.
It's the Jesse Combs helmet.
From
SEMA.
Oh, awesome. Hey, did you guys, because I sent these to you, did you get your
yes.
Jesse, your badges?
Plans.
Good. Yeah, if you guys haven't bought these out there, you should do these. These are cool. They're actually, I think they're like iron-on little patches.
Yeah.
And then I got thank you so much for sending the ModernJeeper patch.
Oh, nice.
ModernJeeper Adventure patches. So we got
those were special because we probably won't make them like that again. But there's
I've also been requested from you that we need ModernJeeper hoodies by several people.
Yeah, well, that's because when it's like 23 degrees outside. So, which we should probably talk about because that's what we were supposed to be talking about. We kind of go on a tangent, as all of our guys know. That's what we do here on the ModernJeeper Show. So let's talk about it. Oh my God. I mean, you've gone through, you have thousands of photos, you have tons of video footage, right? We have videos already appearing. And if you haven't checked out KC250, guys,
check out KC250.
We'll link him down there. He already did the first of several episodes that he's going to be doing about his Death Valley experience, and visiting Metal Cloak and a bunch of other stuff. But that is like, I mean, I'm just going to shut up for a second and let you guys talk because it looks incredible.
This event we're both so passionate. We fell in love with Death Valley a few years back, and we had some comments about, hey, this is the flat desert, and people wanted to know if there was rock crawling and if there's more challenging trails than just driving down the pavement, which there absolutely is. I mean, the park is so big at over 5,000 square miles, 5,000 square miles, that literally there's a couple, I think there's like just over 100 miles of paved roads, but then there's hundreds of miles of not paved roads. So,
wow.
So this event really this time was all about going places that we haven't really, we pre-ran a lot of stuff, but we weren't sure what it would be like to take a group. So trying to juggle time frames and not know what, every group is different too on all of our adventures. Some folks want to do a little bit of hiking. Some want to do some mine exploration. Some want to go 40 miles an hour down a dirt road, and
some don't.
And some want to eat breakfast at 7 a.m. and lunch at 12 and dinner at 5. Like, so you just never know. And our first trip, it was still, it was funny. The couple of days we got there to kind of verify some of our plans, the weather was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we started at a ridge crest, and the wind came up the night before we were supposed to be leaving, and it got pretty chilly. And when we took off north of Trona, it was 25 degrees the first night.
Yeah.
25 degrees?
25 degrees.
It was towed.
It was a little chilly.
That's warmer. I was told 23. Jeez.
Well,
I had sympathy
I
for you
mean,
at 23.
Cold is
My
cold.
God. 25 degrees. Oh my God. Oh.
and some wind.
froze.
Yeah, and some wind.
I don't think
And
I
wind.
slept for 2 nights because the first night we got to the Homewood cabins and I was setting up to do breakfast in the morning and everybody was coming in at different times and Corey runs around like
A
a
chicken.
crazy person anyway and I couldn't sleep because there was more people coming in and I wanted to make sure they were comfortable and got there and knew where everything was if they needed anything. And so I really probably got an hour of sleep.
Yeah, the first
Oh
one.
my
It
gosh.
was a little and so the next night I just froze and I didn't sleep either. So by the third day I was
She
I wouldn't
had
have
it.
it
She had had
anymore.
enough. But
Wow.
I mean, and it works out. I tend to maybe worry a little bit too much about all of it all the time. And then as the days progress, you kind of go, oh, no, everything's good. All that worrying pays off and everything's fine. But we really had a great group and it was cool that first week. We got to bring out some folks from Metal Cloak and Mike from ARS, the new brand manager, had your Gladiator out there. And it was, that is a route that we hadn't done in the past. So, and we had Casey 250 with us. So, of course, I'm wanting to show the best of the best. And literally, and the conversation I have, the pre-morning events are, this is literally a 5-day trip that we put into 3 days.
Wow.
And so there's a lot to see, but I want to make sure that people get to see the some of the best places of the park. And we did. We had a literally, I mean, and it got warmer. I think the third night
It was a little better. It was still cold.
it was
But
maybe only 35 degrees or
those
maybe.
Benadryl helped me sleep, so I was
Uh-huh.
fine.
What you guys were sleeping in the Go Mammoth tent?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So how was that? Like, how was that in the wind?
In the
Just
wind,
fine.
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does real well. It's
It's not noisy.
the sides are a lot tighter than the tent we had prior.
So
And that was just
do you like just position it so the hard shell is against the wind, or
I
Typically.
try, and then of course when you wake up in the morning, the wind is switched and it's blowing the
Sure.
complete opposite way.
yeah, no,
Great.
of course the sun's on one side, on the other, wind's
Right.
whatever. That's so. But you guys, and then what do you use for your actual sleeping bag?
So I have a bag that's so one of the things about a rooftop tent, and a lot of people say, oh, well, I can keep my sleeping bag and my pillows and everything in mine. Well, yeah, then they're, about that thick when you try to close them. And
They
the
don't
Go
close.
Mammoth tent has a very low profile. So all we can keep in there, we have a self-inflating mattress that when it's inflated is a little over 3 inches thick. It's almost 4 inches thick.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's made by a company called Cuomo Top. QOMOTOP or something like that.
It is the best mattress ever.
Yeah, but self-inflating, and then you have to kind of squeeze it up, and then you close
Sure.
the valves so it can close. But I have a 0 degree. We have a 0 degree bag that is like 11 inches thick. Well,
Wow.
we can't really take that
And
bag
packing that thing.
and roll it up, and it would take up the entire back seat of the Gladiator because you can never get it back in the bag and all that. So I have a 20 degree bag by a company called Climate, and it is a fantastic bag. It's super thin. It's a down bag, and it's super warm down to about 30 degrees. Beyond that, so she has a couple of blankets, and they're made by a company called Rumpel, RUMPL. These little Rumpel blankets, we had been putting them on top of the sleeping bag. And
They just slide off.
then in the
they're
morning
everywhere.
they're up against the sides
Or
of the
somebody
tent,
rolls
and
themselves in it.
yeah, I wrestle alligators in my sleep. So we like on I think it was the third night of that week, the first trip, wasn't it?
Mhm.
We took those bags and we put them inside
I put all my blankets inside
the sleeping bag.
the sleeping bag. So
Like
they wouldn't escape.
night
Wow.
and day difference. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
night
cool.
and day difference.
Little tech tip for you guys out there.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
taking one of those down small blankets and putting them inside your sleeping bag. So Casey 250, who is from Alberta, Canada, He uses a USB powered sleeping bag. And we were like,
I need one.
Whoa,
What?
really?
yeah. And I did some research when I came home because that's what I do. And they're the real deal. And in fact, I found an insert that can go inside your regular sleeping bags, all USB powered, that'll run all night long. And he made a good point. All you need is a very, very small amount of some heat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's protecting you from 20 below zero.
Right.
All you need is a little supplemental heat, and it does an amazing job. So these little inserts and these USB powered sleeping bags, just that little bit of warmth make a huge difference. So, and they're not expensive. I mean, I think the insert was like $50.
And it's just like an electric blanket, right? Because
Right.
like
Yeah.
I grew up with electric blanket. I always had
Yep.
water beds and electric blankets. And the water beds, we always had heaters within them, right? So you could heat up the water or whatever. Or I had the electric blanket. But something about having this entire like array of cords going across you, like I always had to imagine there was some sort of electrical field being created there,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
scrambling your brain or doing something. But now you got one that's USB, and I'm assuming it just plugs into his Jeep, or does he have like a USB port or something up in
So
his?
just an iPhone, like your regular phone charger, like
Yeah.
a little brick, it just
Yeah.
runs off those.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the company I was looking at
Wow.
is called Mantool. It's Tuole.
Mantuole.
Mantuoli. I don't know.
That's
But
are you a
it's-
Mantuole?
its little specs state that it will run off of a standard 5-volt 2-amp USB power supply, and it will work off of a 10,000 milliamp little battery pack, like your little
bricks that
you charge your phone with.
Hmm.
It'll go 2 nights.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Off of that. So there you go. That's my
2 nights off of that. That's
yeah.
cool.
yeah.
But again, to your point, all you're doing is creating if you have a decent sleeping bag that's going to capture the warmth anyway,
Right.
all you need to do is just
Need a
create a
little
little
bit.
extra warmth.
Yep.
Right,
See,
well,
that would have helped a lot.
How much do those weigh?
This little insert thing, it weighs 2 pounds.
Next time I go on a backpacking trip in November with these boys out here, I could stand to have 2 more pounds if I had my little USB blanket. Because these guys, Becker and Eric and us, like they had their like $300 air mattress that is designed with reflective material and all this kind of stuff to keep them warm. And I had like my $100 air mattress.
Yeah.
But you know what? And then we take like hot pads and stuff like that and break them up. I probably had 2 pounds of hot pads in there that I just broke up and shoved into my socks and everything else. But I have for me, I always go to sleep just in my clothes. Like I don't strip down. I just go to sleep in my clothes. And then I start out on top of the blankets and then somewhere, or the sleeping bag. And then at some point during the night, I sleep in the sleeping bag, and then I toss and turn all night anyway.
Well, and that's, having those good undergarments, a real set of
Smart wool.
smart wool, what am I trying to say? Long underwear type of that does make a huge difference. And I wear
Spider-Man underoos for me, please.
Yeah, there you go.
Except for the cold people. I had like lots of layers on.
Yeah, she
Layer
just gets cold.
And lots of blankets, and I still
Well, they have those single one-piece Spider-Girl outfits you can wear.
But then they usually have bunny ears or something.
Spandex or whatever. They're so tight and fitting
entertainment or
and accentuating that they actually they're supposed to keep you warm.
Right.
And if not, they'll keep him warm.
Yeah.
Just looking at you.
I freeze. I have to have all the things on.
I'm finding
all the things.
What are you looking for? Oh, your little brick.
So this little brick.
Yeah.
Is, let me look here. I think got to put my spectacles on here. This is 16,750 milliamp hours. So almost 20,000 milliamp hours. the little
Wow.
sleeping pad will last for, on low, it'll last for 14 hours on low
Wow.
with just this.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. Now that most of the JLs and the Gladiators and whatnot have 110 outlets in them as well,
Right.
or you can get yourself a little solar
Charging
panel.
ports and everything else. Yeah.
Right, little solar panel or something like that. I have a little Goal Zero battery pack that'll charge this up a handful of times. And all these are, these are super inexpensive anymore. They used to be like, $1 million, but
It's super easy. Well, I got one that, back when I was playing with the idea of creating a backpacking brand, I bought a bunch of stuff as samples. And one of the ones I got was a little charging pad. It has a solar panel on top. So you can either USB charge it, and it has 2 USB outlets in it, and it has one USB it has USB micro insert. And so it would just be, so I could set it, you could either put it on your dash as you're driving and solar power it up, or you can actually charge it up. And it works great. I mean, it wasn't the type that you could go and jump start your car with, but it still worked good.
So this is, I just recently bought this before we left for this trip. It's a Goal Zero. That's a big solar panel. Well, it's a little solar panel. You can see by my hands. But it's called the Torch 500. It has
flashlight.
It's got a flashlight and whatnot. It's also a light on the side, and it's also got a light up front. And there's a USB charging port in it as well, and it's also a solar powered charging brick. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, super small, lay it on your dash during the day. We used it in the tent. We used it outside the Gladiator. We walk around with it, go to the bathroom with it. And it's, I've not run out of power yet. So,
wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is
and it's got little hooks so you can hang it on a
nice.
tent post or whatever. And
that's Goal Zero.
That's Goal Zero. And then it's also got USB-C and regular USB charging ports in it as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's all waterproof.
Ooh.
Kind of cool. And I think this was like, I don't know, $50.
Well, that's a deal.
Because you're paying for the Goal Zero name, of course, too.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's like it's got there, and they probably have a good warranty system and backing and all of that. I mean, that's
right.
That's part of the problem with any of these things, right? Is electronics. Let's buy some cool electronic stuff. Oh, wait.
Yeah, when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember how much battery capacity this has. I'd have to look. 5,200 milliamp hours. So it's only about a third of the little brick I showed you. But with the solar panel on it, every day you just charge it back up. Yeah.
Right. And it probably could be more, but they, the size of that was to have an effective solar panel, not to have, they could do it smaller, but then the solar panel is not as effective as smaller. Right.
Right.
So, I mean, it's an interesting dichotomy, but so let's go back to like equipment. So you recently got that. Like, what other equipment did you buy this year before your Death Valley trip?
Well, we've changed a lot of things. We've changed stoves a couple of times, trying to figure out kind of what we like best. What's easy. We still like the Oris Scuttle, but it's a cast iron plate that's fairly heavy. It probably weighs 20 pounds. But one of the mornings we made breakfast for everybody. So that big plate, she can crack half a dozen eggs and put bacon on there and sausage all on the same plate. So the Scuttle still works good, but we bought a cheap little Coleman stove that actually has 2 burners on it, like the old style, but instead of the little pump up fuel thing, now it's all just propane.
So is it that just the square Coleman stove or the rectangle, right? Okay.
It's the Gladiator version.
It's even a Gladiator. It's their series or whatever. We had a small single burner one, but it wasn't a very big burner.
The wind on it was horrible.
The wind was horrible. And also the Scuttle this year, $20. They now make a wind guard that goes around inside the base of the scuttle next to the flame and in between the outside and the inside. It stops the wind from traveling through, which used to be a real pain in the butt when the wind
Right.
was blowing. The scuttle wouldn't get hot.
Yeah.
Well, that was my
Um,
problem with my camp stove. Was I thought I went and bought a Coleman clamshell, right? That has a tube that
Mhm.
sits as a clamshell and it opens up.
That's what we
And
had.
there's there's nicer versions of it. Like I remember Jeremy Rome was out there with his jet boil version,
right.
but the Coleman version it was fine and all, except the grill was so tall
Mhm.
that when you're setting your pot in there, there's like 3 inches where the wind
Right.
just gets through it. And unless you put a big wind guard up, which I ended up figuring out how to do, it wasn't that effective. It would take forever to cook something because the flame's constantly being hit by the wind. And
Well,
it's an interesting thing you have to know because when you're going to certain areas for overlanding, right, you need to know if there's going to be wind going on, what are the weather going to be like, and you have to be able to adapt to those
yeah, having
conditions.
the versatility, and that's why we've kind of like, okay, well, this works for this.
Mhm.
The Gladiator stove has individual hot plates that are griddle tops that you can put on each burner as well. So
Ooh,
you could actually have a flat surface and do eggs or bacon without getting out a pot. Again,
wow.
it's all that. Okay, we can use this for a variety of things. Um,
And it's that one pot cooking too, because
right.
it's if you can stand it, if you can manage it, it's best when you're camping to just use one pot. A lot less to clean up.
Yep.
Well, cleanup is always a huge ordeal, and
Well, you've got the faucet, the water faucet down there with the sink and everything, just right at your camping area, right?
yeah, right. Yeah, in Death Valley especially, it's like you're as careful with your water.
Mhm.
Right.
Cleanup becomes a process, and we try to, of
Less
course,
waste
less
and
waste. I mean, even something like coffee grounds becomes kind of a lot of people would just throw them in a fire. Well, a lot of places in Death Valley you can't have a fire.
Mhm.
So unless you're in an approved fire ring from the Park Service, fires are
Best thing for the coffee grounds is you keep them in a little bag, and then when you're driving, you're tired, you just stick them right here in front of your lip and just suck on them.
ew.
just a
Just suck
pinch
on them.
between your cheek
Just
and
pit,
gum.
just pinch your cheek and your gum, and you're sucking them.
So forget the espresso. We just
You just suck
Yeah.
on them.
we dipped
You,
some coffee grounds.
it's interesting because backpacking, like when we did the Pacific Crest Trail, my dad bought the Folgers coffee in a tea bag. Like
Oh yeah,
Folgers
yep,
has that line of they're just tea bags, right?
yep.
And I just drank tea the whole time myself because I was drinking yerba mate just to try to maintain it. But just a little tea, and those were easy because you could just easily dispose of them or whatever. Um,
Well, and that's what
but
we do the pour over thing, but we have so it goes into just a number 4 cone filter, and then you can kind of pinch off the top of it and put it in a plastic bag or something like that, and then dispose of it when we get near a campground or something.
so
But
the idea of just throwing your coffee grounds out in the middle of the Joshua trees is frowned upon.
Mhm.
I'm sure that others do that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is quote unquote organic, um,
Right.
but and
If
as a
you see
kid,
if you see the local wildlife running around like craziness.
right? I've had way too much caffeine.
Mm. The
Um,
trees get up and run away because they're caffeine.
right.
Caffeinated trees.
And
Actually,
really, it's
now remember, coffee grounds are actually good for plants, right? Like the
right.
nitrogen it helps them build the nitrogen. I remember going and used to be you could go to a Starbucks and they had a free bag. Like you could just grab a bag of coffee grounds. They would have them sitting there by the front. Like that's what they did with all their old coffee grounds. Throw them in a bag and you could take them and you take them home and you spread them in your garden and help with that nitrogen buildup and everything else you're trying to balance out your garden. Um, or you take them home and you're really bad, you just reuse them. But I never did that. I mean, there's still some caffeine in those things.
Yeah,
You want it?
chew on it. Yeah,
Chew on it. All right, here in the government.
suck on those things. Yeah,
Mm.
no.
They do have those, right? They have somebody
Oh
created it.
yeah,
They have it's like the little packets for chew, except it has caffeine in it.
caffeine gum now. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
I
yeah,
was
right
gonna say,
here. It's
Yeah.
called NeuroGum. I highly recommend it. Neurogum. They have 2 different flavors. It has 65 milligrams of caffeine.
Did it make you smarter?
It makes you feel smarter. And see, it comes with a little packet.
How many of those did you eat before you went to the ER again?
Yeah, no, I do. This used to be my thing to get through the afternoon when I wasn't, I'd have a lunch or whatever, and you get tired, get that afternoon tiredness.
Yep.
Like this was my thing. I would have one of those. Now, at the ER they did pump me with adrenaline. They did the whole stress test. Boom, adrenaline. I'm like talking to the doctor. Next thing you know, the only thing I felt was my airwave got restricted, but then I was over it. So I was so used to being caffeinated that nothing else affected me with the adrenaline. Just my airwave was a little bit restricted for about a minute, and then I was done.
That's interesting.
And they have other people
take
are
some
like,
pre-workout.
I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Oh my God. Or freaking out or having throwing up or whatever. But I was like talking to him. Like, he's like,
this morning.
anything going on? I'm like, a little hard to breathe right now.
Yep.
Okay, it's going away. That was
Yeah,
it.
you need some pre-workout stuff with some niacin in it, and
I was on fire today.
Yeah.
Oh, have you done niacin?
Ugh.
Oh,
That
dude.
stuff kills me every time. I'm like, God dang, my hair's standing up.
I used to, yeah. I did a sweat program years ago, and it's a program where you take niacin every day. You increase the amount. I think I was at like 5,000 milligrams of niacin a day. And you take the niacin, you run on a treadmill to get your blood circulating, and then you sit in the sauna for like 3 hours.
That's torture right there.
And torture out. It was like, dude, when you're done, the world seems different because you've detoxified yourself, and it's like colors are brighter, sounds are clearer.
You sure
and you're drug free. Just don't do it. Just don't do it with somebody who's been a smoker. Like if there's a smoker in the sauna with you, it's the worst effing experience. Like the tar and the smells of the tar come out of their skin, and it's like all you're smelling is like, you might as well go stick your head into an ashtray that has been rained on. Like, rainy, wet ash. That's what you should stick your head into, because that's what it smells like in there.
Nope.
Yeah, nasty.
Nope.
So anyway, back to gadgets.
Anyway, so let's talk more about Death Valley. So Death Valley, so you're out there doing it. So what other things did you get for your rig?
I'm trying to get better organized, and I still end up hunting for so many things, whether it's a headlamp or one of my little battery packs, or I need to get a tripod out, or I want a different camera. And I know I have all that stuff in there, but I'm still struggling with the organizational aspects of that.
In the back seat.
In the back seat, inside. In the rear, I did spend more than I wanted to. I bought an aluminum box.
Who'd you get that from?
Zarges, Zarges.
Okay.
So Alubox and Zarges, those boxes are nearly identical. But I'd read a lot of good things about how they ship stuff in those, and they really are used as little mini shipping containers. They're dirt, wind, dust, rain proof, sealed up. And I'm like,
wow.
Okay, I'm going to try it. You know what? We went through some massive silt beds on the second trip. We ran into a silt bed that was over a quarter mile long. And it was over the hood silt.
Wow.
We'll have to talk to our friend Dell Albright about him and his little trailer and whether he thought we were ever going to find him again.
He was not happy with us because he was at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
But everything was full of silt. I mean, like everything in the bed of the truck had probably a quarter of an inch of silt on everything. To open that aluminum box, and it's like everything in there is still brand new. I'm like, oh yeah. Even our tote bins that we use, and I had bought some new yellow topped tote bins, and they still had some soot in them. Some dust, but they weren't bad.
So
but what
were you
happens
going
with
fast through this?
Oh, like if you
have
weren't
to.
going 35 or so, you're not going to make it to the end.
Oh, 35 is not fast.
The ruts are...
Well, but you're
see, yeah, that's wow. We'll have to talk about that. I want to. So okay, so I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's good. The plastic containers and they do an okay job as long as you don't have really terrible weather, but they just crack and over time the lids break and then you've got a
Mhm.
hole in the side of it or something. They just aren't going to hold up durability wise long term. So I bought this aluminum box. It fits. It's a long box, so it's like 40 inches long, I think, and like 16 inches wide, 17 inches wide, and about 15 or 16 inches tall. All of our food stuff, all of our cooking stuff goes in that. The Gladiator
Hmm.
stove, the scuttle, um, coffee
UFO
maker,
light.
the UFO light, all of that stuff fits in there. And is it a little bit heavy with the scuttle in there? Yeah, but one container there and two of those little plastic storage bins. I'd like to at some point convert the plastic ones into aluminum boxes as well, but um, there's going to have to be a loan program set up for that to happen. So they're proud of those boxes.
They are very proud.
Now, are they mounted on a slider or something, or are they just
No,
no,
no, they
sit-
just you just slide them in, slide them out, and they slide pretty well. I wish that the bed of my JT was Line-Xed or Rhino lined or something. Um, it's not, so it slides really well on the metal.
really you don't have a liner?
I don't.
Oh, it's kind of funny because Mike bought he bought a rubber mat since he was taking my Gladiator out. He wanted to set it up, so he bought this big rubber mat for the back of it, right? So mine is Line-X. I have the nice orange Line-X on it.
Right.
Then you put the rubber mat on there, but the rubber mat is designed for that, but not because instead of it kind of conforming to the ribs on the bed of the
Yeah,
Gladiator,
kinda sits-
it's a flat surface with its own ribs, and the ribs
Oh.
have their own conform. They don't conform, so you got laying on top of it with its own ribs. So it's just kind of a weird mat system.
Well, I've looked
Um,
at bed rug and stuff like that, but I just for dirt and I'd be out there vacuuming the thing every day, and that would drive me insane. Um, I the boxes slide in and slide out. Um, we I don't know. I like my system in the back so far. Everything seems to have we have a place for everything, and I know where everything's at. Um, it'll be interesting to see what we can come up with for the rear seat. Some of our friends, Carolina Metal Masters, a shout out to them. They're designing. Brian has designed a rear seat delete, of course. So
oh,
a lot of
really?
people are taking the rear seats out, but then there are shelves that literally are on struts and you can lift them up out of the way or fold them down and store things in the back of your Gladiator.
Wow. Well, Mike took my first off. He took the car seats out. Then he took the whole seat system out, and that's where he put his fridge. Right. Then he put. I
Oh,
told you, the Gladiator came back to me in better shape than I lent it to him because
nice.
he actually really cleaned it out completely. I mean, it's got rid of all its silts, but yeah, then that's what he did because he took the seat out, and I didn't think about that. But he wanted more room, so he took the seat out. It was only
The
a
seat
few
takes
bolts.
out the seat takes up a half of your space in the back seat of the Gladiator.
Yeah.
Right,
Folded
right.
or unfolded, it takes half.
And it's not really designed like a good Dodge seat. Like it's kind of funny because our red Dodge, the big burgundy Dodge, and we call it the 49er Dodge because of its colors, but that one has the seat that folds down. Okay, right? It's the Laramie
Right.
edition. Aaron's Dodge, which I think is probably similar to yours, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't it folds down completely flat and you have a
No.
nice storage space. So yours doesn't. Does yours
No,
have?
so
They flip up.
The seat
Oh, they
flips
flip
up, but the
up.
rears don't come down.
Okay. So, because Aaron's, I think, well, I don't know which way it goes. I just know it's a really nice flat space that's created within there, so that you have the room and the space to put a bunch of stuff. And then, of course, there's our new Ram, which we just got a 2022 Ram delivered, Laramie edition. So we're going to be doing some more product development on that. You guys can come out and see it. Actually, we'll have it at Easter Jeep Safari. I think we're taking that one in the silver out to EJS this year. So back to Death Valley.
Yeah, I mean, we basically we bring far more than we need, of course, because also when we're leading these trips, we don't know what somebody else may forget or not have with them, so we make sure that were prepared.
But we did downsize quite a bit.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I did. We downloaded all of our Vegas luggage and everything we didn't need.
Yeah,
Thank
we actually
God.
left all that stuff back with Jonathan at American Off-Road.
Because usually we have several different things we're doing on top of the Death Valley trip, so we had
Right.
to have certain other things. So it was nice that he let us like throw all of our crap in his office, so we didn't have to be too packed.
Well, it's good to have friends.
Yeah, I do have a picture of us bringing the spare tire home, and it fit. The 38 will fit in the back on top of the fridge and everything else. I didn't have to use a strap or nothing though, because that thing was not coming out. In
Well,
fact,
see, that's why you need the overcab system, so you can strap it on top above
Right.
your cab, right? And
Right.
be like all those cool guys that go through,
don't like I can do like a
Africa.
Land Rover thing and put it on the
Exactly.
hood.
Oh,
Ew.
or do you remember the Smitty belt bumper they had at SEMA one year? It was like 4 feet long in the front, and the spare tire sitting in the front.
Tire on it. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
you've seen the new ones, right? The ones that open up like the Toyota ones,
Oh yeah. So
like the two.
for the Gladiator, somebody's
Mhm.
making a split rear,
Rear
bumper that swings out both ways.
Oh, wow.
So
you
you
have a
can still
tire
open the
and
tailgate.
I'm like, wow, how much does that thing weigh?
Right. I thought you were about to tell me that somebody made a split the rear tailgate. Like,
Oh,
let's not use a tailgate. Let's just mount a rear tailgate. We're going to make it swing open, and you don't have a drop down anymore. But then what's the joy of having a truck without a drop down?
right. You gotta have that's my table for a lot of things.
Yeah, that's my table, my seat.
I actually was reading an article this morning about it was on Outside Magazine, which it's a lot of clickbait kind of stuff you see, but the article had to do with people modifying their Toyotas and what not to do. And it was kind of funny because the Toyota, the Tacoma, I think it is, has a carrying capacity of like 1,100 pounds. And that's without it loaded with your own stuff and your, bodies of people in it and all that. And how anybody who has one they're so overweighted, and then people complain about how they're different. That's the same thing that's happening with the Gladiators. So many people are throwing 2,500 pounds in the bed, and they're just going, "Oh well, I can put in airbags and it fixes it all." That's not how this works, folks. Not how it works. Stop it.
But airbags, dude. I mean, I can have them actuated too, so I can turn them on and off from the cab.
Yeah. This isn't a 3/4 ton, 1 ton truck. This is got Dana 44s, and you're changing its entire functionality and the frame and all that. It's not meant to carry more weight. Just because it's level doesn't mean it can carry more weight. Stop it.
But it's like there's still room in the credit card, so it's okay to use the credit card. There's still checkbooks in the checks, so there's still room in my bed.
Right.
I can carry more gravel.
I can
carry more bags of sand. It's okay.
And then I can put a trailer on the back.
And then I can tow.
About 3,000-4,000.
And I have a rack, and I can put more on my. I mean, I have room. What are you talking about?
I don't know why my stuff is swaying back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I went on a corner and it just flipped over. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's nothing about trailers and all that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it does. Remember, guys, every time you make a change in your rig, you're changing center of gravity to some degree or another, right? Whether it's you're adding skid plates and you're lowering your center of gravity, you add a rooftop tent and you just raise your center of gravity. Why does that matter? Because, those times when you're off camber and a little freaking out, your center of gravity can play a big role into whether or not you're going to end up staying on your tires or not staying on your tires.
You're going to take a nap.
And Jeep did such a great thing. They gave us this nice 8-speed transmission, and the guys running 38s, 40s, 42, like they haven't re-geared a lot of them. Some actually do, but yeah, now that is really just a 4 or a 5-speed transmission. Because you're never going to get to those top gears.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't.
I should probably put my flame suit on, and we'll probably get all kinds of hate mail going. I've been doing it for years and it's great. So more power to you.
That's right. Well, those are the guys that, like, unlike me, it's like, well, I have a 98 TJ. I've never changed the axles. I'm running 37-inch tires, right, on a totally stock suspension. And I run through or the guy's actually running 33s through the Rubicon all the time. Yeah.
Right.
We get a lot of those around here.
Good driver.
So, so that's cool, man. So you go through, so you did, so the first trip, if I remember correctly, the first trip was a lot of that. Like, I've seen some of the images, and guys, these are incredible. So if you haven't checked out, like, where are you posting this stuff? Instagram, Facebook? Where are you posting these images?
So I'm still in the culling process of going through and deleting the bad and going through and figuring out where, I'll probably create a folder. They'll probably be, I have people still like to go to SmugMug and look at stuff. There'll probably be a link, but I'll probably create a folder on our Facebook page as well, because I know people don't like to leave that app. They like to view pictures inside there. So they'll be there. We'll be generating stories out of it as well. So they'll be everywhere.
Magazines.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little magazine stuff coming on.
I got surprises coming. Yes.
Nice. Nice. Well, that's cool. So that's awesome. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing all this stuff. Just some of the images they've sent out to us, guys. By the way, I was like, oh my God. And this is why we talk about rock landing, because what they did was rock landing. There was some little rock crawling going on. There was, going out there and overlanding and just enjoying yourselves, not just because you're happen to drive on a bunch of roads and then you went on a dirt road and then camp someplace. It was like the real adventure of what it is. And I don't think anybody else, I mean, you've been paying attention to other trips and other things that are out there. Has anybody else done anything like this? Has anybody else taken these? I don't think
so. I mean, there's, what is it? The best form of flattery is imitation, or how does it go?
Yeah, that just goes to people that don't have any original thoughts or ideas.
Right.
Oh, I'm flattering you by imitating you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's all for us. It's about relationships that we've built. And, we went up and saw Brent, the owner of Cerro Gordo, and he is such an amazing guy. He was actually our curator himself. Like, here's the owner of the property who took us into the mine and showed us his property. And he has such an inspirational YouTube channel as well.
This is the guy that has, like, I bought a Ghost Town or
Ghost
something,
Town.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so it was cool. The second trip we took the group up to Cerro Gordo, and it was funny. The second group, they did such a good job of making such good time, and we really went a lot further than I thought we'd make it, because we didn't know how fast people would be. So in the first day, we covered about a day and a half of my plan. So we were well ahead of schedule. So I actually got to take the second group up through one of the canyons that I took the first group, which wasn't really in my plan, but we were okay time-wise and it worked out. So they got to do a little bit of rock landing as well. And and it was warm. I mean,
it was nicer.
Justin got to come out with us on the second trip, and I think everybody just had a blast. And I can't wait. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to take more groups out there and do different things, because literally we could do different adventures out there every time we go.
But the difference with our adventure is you get history, geology, plant life. You get the entire experience.
Yeah.
Bar none.
We do a lot of talking.
We've compared notes on other trips, and
this is my buddy Don.
It's Don. So we have, we try something new every time to capture all the things and learn more. And we don't want to be like everybody else. And we are not like anybody else.
Well, that's obvious, because we're modern Jeepers.
That's right.
It is. That's cool, man. So yeah, I mean, like I said before, in last week's podcast, the feedback I've received has just been incredible. And I think the people coming out to do these events are getting more than their dollar's worth. We could probably charge, 2 or 3 times what we're currently charging for what the value you're getting. But it's not about that. It's not about building
That's right.
About making money. It's about giving value to people and having, and just the joy of doing it, right? The joy of taking some people out. And I mean, I've just been enthralled by your passion for Death Valley, and just from that first trip, and just and taking it on, and now
I love
it's
it. I love
yeah.
I'm and every time we go, I learn more. And it's we've had people go, well, this is like getting a full blown Death Valley education, and we don't even know we're getting it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's cool. We had Dell out there this trip, and of course his stories, and he's been going out there for 36 years. That knowledge and the things that I've picked up, I think that's what separates us, right? I mean, there's you can drive to a place and go make a meal on your scuttle,
Right.
and good, that's great, and you get to see some amazing places. um I really do respect the historical value of a place like one of our national parks. And Death Valley has so much history and so many characters, so we really try to put the people, our groups, in touch with the people who were there in 1849 and in
Mm.
1900 that were doing the mining, to give them some relationship to what those people had to endure, and what they left us behind is just, it's awesome.
It's hard to fathom sometimes what they endured to make a buck, to make a living,
Oh
right?
man. Yeah.
Just to have a job, right? We're not even talking about the entrepreneurs that went out there and try to build a fortune. We're talking about the people that worked for them.
Right.
Some of the people that just worked for the entrepreneurs were absolutely, there's a bit of mental insanity you have to think of just to go, what are you going to do? I'm going to go get a job in Death Valley. What do you? Well, I'm part of a crew moving, 7 tons worth of mining equipment up a valley with some burros.
But I might make $4 or $5 a day,
Might, and
so
I might
it's
not even
worth it.
survive, but it's okay,
Yeah.
right? It comes back to it. It's kind of interesting because that whole, the Shackelford exposition has kind of come up in the news lately because they found his ship, and I've shared with this to you guys before, but this is what Mike Upchurch gave me, and it's a coin that he was carrying. And I have to put on my glasses here, my Where's Waldo glasses, and I can barely see it because the lighting is bad. But it says here, this was the inscription on here, and this is the inscription for the ad for this: like, men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months, complete darkness, etc., 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 complete danger, safe return doubtful. I mean, there was a time when people would go, wow, I'm going to go on that because it's an exciting
Yeah.
adventure.
Can you imagine if we put that as our disclaimer on our adventures?
Right? You know what? We got to try that. Hazardous journey, return home safe is doubtful.
We
But
might
give us a
bring you
few.
back.
You might be back. But honor and recognition in case of success. Shackelford. I mean, this is just a different era.
Yeah.
Right? And I love you. The millennials of today, I don't know how many of them would well, one, you wouldn't believe it. Like, somebody would put this ad out there, you go, well, that can't be the truth. And then when something happens, you point to it and go, well, that was what the ad said. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you were telling, well, I couldn't have been that hazardous.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So very awesome. Glad you guys enjoyed yourself. Glad you guys are getting things going. Obviously the next thing on the list is Eater's Jeep Safari, right?
Yep. We have Moab coming up, and we'll be out there in 2 weeks. We have
My birthday.
we have a couple of
Happy
interesting
birthday.
a couple of interesting events that are happening literally that weekend. Our friends at Warren are doing one of their trail runs. I believe it's on Sunday, but there's a flat fender run on, I think, Friday. Like, it's crazy. That week is just such a crazy week. And we're fortunate enough, we'll have the trailer out there. I'm sure we're going to be running it a little bit, probably Tuesday, but then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, of course, as we get ready for planning for Moab, Daytona in our vision, Panama City Jeep Jam, and then we have this whole Rocklander thing giveaway that's coming up sooner rather than later.
I know, it's you only have a month and a half left, guys, to enter. And I'm telling you, this next month and a half is going to be craziness, because all we've really done over the last 2 months is kind of get things out, roll things out, get things going. But it's going to be an insane next month and a half, because the giveaway is going to be May 21st at Overland Expo. We booked the house. We're going to be out there.
Yep.
We're all going to be out there. We're going to do a Modern Jeeper show live from there, which is all that tech needs to be worked out, but it's going to be cool. We're going to do this big thing, and it's all going to be to give away what is now looking like it's going to be close to $30,000 in parts and stuff to make your rig the ultimate Rocklander.
That's awesome.
And then included in that, by the way, is you get to choose one of the ModernJeeper Adventures that you want to go on, whichever one it is. And within everyone except, I don't know, I think the Rubicon is excluded from that, only because we haven't. Yeah, the Rubicon one is excluded only because there's a lot of variables with that one. But any of the other ModernJeeper Adventures you can go on, and then there's a lot of cool stuff that's happening with that. So make sure you get out there to ultimaterocklander.com. Put in your entry if you haven't already. And when you enter, it goes to another page that says, now that you've entered, here's other things you can do. And do that. Share it. Get more points. Get more opportunity to actually win. So it's pretty cool.
We've had lots of questions about at Easter Jeep Safari. We will have rigs there that have the new Milestar MT-02 tires on them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also have the My Dodge truck will have the new XTs that have the snowflake designation on them.
Anything other than a snowflake, please.
Oh, you gotta love a tire with some snowflakes on it.
Yeah, snowflakes.
Those tires are amazing, and with the snowflake designation, you can run those without running chains in Colorado. So
really,
yeah, that's the big thing on the highway.
Is it really that good? I mean, there seems to be a significant difference between like snowflake rubber and running a chain or spikes or something.
So the siping that they've done, and then the testing, of course, in order to qualify for the snowflake designation, is a completely different set of specs, and that tire works well. I know that because I've run tires in the past with the snowflake designation. In the snow and rain and all that, they make a significant difference. So, yeah, I'm awesome. Excited to put them on the truck for sure.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like out there at Easter Jeep Safari, it sounds like Arches Repair Center is closed, where we usually do our things, but there's a new taco time or something out there. So come out, guy, get your CTI done and have some tacos. And tacos. Yep. That's awesome. Like it's going to be
That'll
a great.
Be good. Like, food will be right there.
Yeah, that's right. Wait and have tacos. They're going to love us.
Yeah.
It should be cool. So that's awesome. So come out there, see us at Easter Jeep Safari. Of course, we will be giving away. I think I printing like 500 shirts to give away that week. 500 shirts, and there's something special happening. Actually, no, this is Jeep Beach. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Jeep Beach is the 2 weeks later, right?
Yeah.
There's something special because we do about 300 shirts at Jeep Beach, and there's something special happening on there. I don't know all the details, but we've been requested that the shirt be orange because everybody out there is supposed to be wearing orange shirts in honor of, and I can't some details, but so we're going to be doing that. And I actually just found an orange shirt, so we'll be doing that. But we'll have the free shirts out at Easter Jeep Safari.
Cool.
And you're open what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Is that what the plan is?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll run it for a little while. We usually do something, we don't do a full day on Tuesday, but we'll be there for a little while on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yeah, we should be running it full boat.
Yeah, and then we'll do we will have stuff in the vendor show. We have a large booth in the vendor show, and got to work all that out. So the plan right now is you'll probably see Corey's Gladiator. You'll see Corey's LJ
there.
You'll see Jesse's JK will be out there. But you put your order in for your JL, didn't you?
I'm waiting.
Yep. Yeah.
When do you get it?
We don't know. They said it was going to be like 16 weeks.
I had my VIN number in 3 days, but it's like wah.
So her JK, you'll see you most likely will see obviously the Metal Cloak 4-door JL, the big green Mojito JL on 40s that Will built. And most likely my Gladiator will be out there as well. But there's still like variables to work on to get that all out there. Plus, Cloakworks will be out there with their JK. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. And we'll just have fun with it and do it. So hopefully to see you guys all out there. Otherwise, next week, appreciate everybody being with us. This has kind of been cool to have like another regrouping. We've had a lot of interviews lately, so it doesn't give us a chance to chat and talk and share ideas. But we have some more interviews coming up over the next few weeks. And it seems you guys seem to like those interviews. So we're going to keep it going. And it helps us learn something. You guys learn something. And not just hear us talk. Anything else you want to share with our groupies?
I think that's it, my friend.
Yeah.
We got
awesome.
Got stuff
Lots
to
to
yeah,
do.
we got to unload the unload and we do a lot of unloading and repacking. That's
Unloading and
pretty
repacking.
much-
Yeah.
We do that.
Lot to do. All right. Well, hey, and if you happen to be in the Northern California area, Reno or all that, this weekend is the Metal Cloak Shootout out here at Prairie City. This is the return of NorCal Rock Races to Prairie City. It's round one. The Metal Cloak Shootout, which essentially, you guys remember the old Metal Cloak Stampede that was an Ultra 4 race. This is essentially the same thing, except it's being done with NorCal Rock Racing. And it is 1, family friendly. 2, pits are open. Walk around with the kids. Show them off all these awesome cars. 3, you're going to have the Gomez brothers out here, including Raul Gomez, the current king of the Hammers, is going to be out there. Come by, say hi. Your kids are going to love to meet him. And they're always fun to watch. Plus, there is 25 races or something like that throughout the day. I mean, it's everything from kids racing in side-by-sides to stock class, to mod class, to legend, all these other classes running, and your big boys, your Ultra 4s. So come on out there and see us out there. That's Saturday all day out at Prairie City SVRA, going through the event entrance. Tickets are available if you want to get them pre at norcalrockracing.com, or you can just show up there and pay on site. Otherwise, if you happen to be around, we're having a rare CTI day on Friday from 3 to 5 at Metal Cloak. Come on out and visit us and throw your rig up on the CTI, and we just have some fun. Otherwise, thank you all for being a part of this amazing episode, and we'll see you on the trails.
Cheers.
See ya.